Hey everybody, welcome to Olympic Minds Leadership Beyond Limits. This is Sherry Winn, your podcast host. This is a podcast for the leader of leaders, the visionary of visionaries, for those leaders who want to go beyond mediocrity into mastery and who want to go beyond success into significance. This is not theory-based. The reason it's not theory-based is because it's been grit-tested and heart-proven and results-driven by leaders like my friend Matt. And we're going to talk more about Matt in just a minute, but I want to introduce you to myself. I'm Sherry Winn, two-time Olympian, national championship basketball coach, award-winning speaker and author. And so I met Matt several years ago when I was interviewing for my book, Winning Leadership, 7 Secrets to Being a Truly Powerful Leader. And we connected. And the reason we connected is because of the answers that he had about leadership. I was like, you're the dude, you got it, you understand. And the things he did with his team, challenged them. He challenged his team to these impossible odds. And of course they overcame them because he led them through that ability to see beyond what they thought was possible. And so he's always been the kind of leader that people want to follow. And he's also been a part of a couple startups. He's had one startup that's it's gone like, I guess, viral. I don't know if you call it viral when you do a startup. I'm going to call it viral, but I'm going to let Matt tell you a little bit more about himself. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, wow, Sherry, thank you very much indeed. It's an honor and privilege to be here. So thank you very much indeed. So myself, very briefly, I'm actually ex-British forces. So I started off in the Army, Royal Signals, Electronic Warfare, 7 Armoured Brigade, which is the Desert Rats and such likes. So after there, I created a different company in telecommunications and professional services, and I rolled that out to about 14 different countries. And then from there, I moved on and I went over to New Zealand, and I had some fun over in New Zealand. I actually went over there just to relax and chill out for about 6 months or so. And anyway, I bumped into this guy who I already knew. And the long and the short of it is he turned around and said, well, come and work for us. So we ended up doing something there, and I ended up staying over there for about 11 years. Running different projects and various things like the Rugby World Cup, the technology for Vodafone for the Rugby World Cup in 2011. So moved on from there. Then I joined up into a software company, came across into the United States, and did first for the mobile applications, as first to market with many things. And quite honestly, what I've been doing since then is anybody who's got an issue and they want to be first to market or disruption technology or something along those lines, that's pretty much what I have been doing. And yes, like you say, I've had various different startups. I've just left one now, which I'm very proud of, but we won't go into that right now. But I've got another one, which I'm just about to start up. So yeah, so exciting times again, exciting times.
So tell me, so you're in the Special Forces. So what did you learn?
Clarification, not Special Forces. I was in the British military. Okay, so
okay, the British military.
Yes.
Right. So thank you for that correction. So tell me, what did you learn? I mean, what did you learn from that experience that helped you transcend into these areas of leadership that helped you become the leader of leaders? Because you really are. I mean, you have learned the pathway to get through the most difficult and challenging times that other people would literally turn and run from. So what did you learn during that experience that's going to help you?
That's a great question. In the very early days, I think I realized that back, you don't really work for your bosses per se. You work for each other. And you work alongside your peers, and you don't want to let your peers down. And so as long as you work within that team, within that area, and you've got the task given to you by your bosses, then between you as individuals on the ground, you can work out what you're going to do, and you know the best way to do it. And so you work collaboration as a team. And I think I started to recognize that the bosses would task you with something that quite often tell you the way to do it and how to do it and why to do it. And you'd be like, no, let's do it this way, guys. And you'd actually get it done quicker. So I've always learned from that side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that I think you're right. A lot of people will tell you, like, this is how to do it, period. And that just stifles your innovation, your creativity. So as you've taken it to, I mean, who wants to just go, A to B, B to C, C to D? I mean, you get bored, you lose your passion, you lose your innovation. And that's what, companies need the innovative people. So what do you do to help people stay creative and innovative? When you've been a leader, what do you do to help them stay in that passion, stay in that willingness to I want to work for you. I want to be here forever.
I love having a challenge that it's like, how on are we going to do this? Okay. And as a leader, lots of people expect you to know the answers and know what's going on, etc. I love walking into the team of people who I'm going to be talking to, who's actually going to be developing what we're going to be developing or doing, and turn around and start off with, hey, you know what? I have no ideas how we're going to do this, but we need to get X done, and we need it done by blah date. Okay, what's next? How are we going to do this? And everybody's sitting in the room with a laugh and a joke, spitballs their ideas, and some of them are hilarious, and it's never going to work. But I love hearing them, because at the end of the day, that rolls into something else. And someone turns around and says, that's never going to work. But based on that, you know what we could do is this. And then if in that team, if we can actually get something that is legitimate and it's good sort of path, the plan and everything else, and it's all their ideas. Now what's happened? They're passionate about getting their ideas across the line. And so ultimately I'm like, hey, look, this is great. I can help, I can guide. It's their idea. They're passionate about it. They want to do it, rather than me turning around and saying, do this, do that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of you saying, like, I don't know, but I know we can do it. Like, it's I don't know the pathway forward. A lot of leaders are afraid of those words, like, I don't know. They're just afraid of them. And so what made you have that, like, that ability, that confidence, if you will, the confidence? Because a lot of leaders that I've met, believe it or not, are in leadership roles, and they don't possess the confidence to say, I don't know. Where did you get that from?
Honestly, I think it's because I don't know. And because I've had the theory that, hey, look, I've got to be a leader, I've got to know this and do this, and I've got it wrong so badly, so many times. And just to turn around and say, you know what? And because I've worked in teams where on the early days, where we're just like, these numpties have no ideas what they're talking about. It's like, let's do this ourselves. And so working from that side, I think it's always been ingrained with me that, hey, look, as an individual, I don't know the answers. And I think it's always been a case of installed into me to say, hey, look, let's do this as a team, let's collaborate, and let's get everybody to go. And I always start off with, people turn around and say, work hard, play hard. And I love that, but I turn it around. So every time we have a new something, I'm like, let's go and play hard, okay? Let's go and get to know each other, whether it's all remotely or as a team. So let's get to know each other. Let's get to know the individuals. Let's know what skill sets you've got. Let's know what passionate stuff you do. What do you do outside of it? Let's get to know each other. And then let's kick off the project, because why go through the projects trying to learn all this stuff and then have a party at the end when in reality you should get to know everybody up front?
Absolutely. I think you just hit the key, is that we're so busy being busy and getting the task done that we forget the most important thing is, learning how to collaborate, learning why we should collaborate, learning the things about somebody else that we didn't know that now guides us to a new understanding or empathy or whatever you want to call it. And we don't do that first. And I would say that that's where athletic teams understand. Athletic teams know, like, you have to come together, you have to know each other, because you have to trust those people explicitly to have your back. You have to trust them that they're going to be where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. And you can't begin that by just like, let's go train hard and harder. No, you've got to figure out who your teammates are. And so one of the things that I spent a lot of time on as a coach was doing things off the court, right, that got us together. Or sometimes people go, what are you doing? You're playing tag. You're playing Frisbee, you're playing soccer, you're doing, like, what are you, like, you've got practice time. I'm like, this is practice time. The moment that we can laugh together, the moment that we get our minds off of that for a little bit and come back later on, we can really just enjoy being around each other and we forget everything else. That is the pathway forward. It is what we want to do. So I would say I don't know if it was as much time, like, getting the team to know each other and finding ways to work together. But I would say there was a lot of time, especially when we got closer to playoffs. Mm-hmm. So the more the stress came, the more the tension came out, the more I know that we really needed to go back to, who are you? How can I support you? Why should I like you, kind of thing. Going back to kind of those roots was super important, because at the end, of like, when you get to championship season, the training is not as important as the mental aspect of what you're doing. So we talk about mental aspects. So how do you help your team members get to that that I call it the Olympic level mindset of resilience, because, you're going to get to that hard place where we worked on this and worked on this and worked on this, and it doesn't, like, we're not getting anywhere. How do you help them through that?
Oh, again, another good question. I think it's, as a leader, you've got to be very clear on expectations and accountability. And a lot of people I have seen, they like to turn around and say, oh, by the way, we've got to get this done, and you've got to do this, and you've got to do that. And they don't drive it down into individual tasks per se, because they don't know themselves, and they haven't understood, they haven't been on the ground, they haven't done it themselves. Or if they have done it themselves, they do it in this specific the style they have to do and all the rest of it. So I think, again, it's everybody who turns up. I don't think I've found somebody who's turning up to work and saying, today I'm going to fail. It's like, it just doesn't, it's like, so help them succeed. Mm-hmm. Okay, so make it very clear, make a task very clear, make it achievable, but also hold them accountable to it. Let them do it. Don't micromanage them. Just let them get on and do it. Be there, supportive, and because they've got to know their team members, they also know who they can rely on. And at the end of the day, I've heard lots of managers turn around and say, oh, we need this particular skill set, or this, that, and the other, and we have to go and hire them or get a contractor or whatever. 9 times out of 10, they don't know they've got somebody in their team who can actually do that. Because they haven't got to know their teams, and they haven't got to know the individuals. So knowing all that actually motivates the people and gets them engaged on the ground, because they know they're supported, and they know that each time a new task comes up, it's different. So you can't sort of have this one mindset set for the year. You've got to keep touching base with them. You've got to keep going through on a weekly basis and saying, hey, look, this is what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, that weekly thing. And so this is what I find, is that people are so afraid of micromanaging, they don't hold people accountable. And I'm like, there's two different things here. Micromanaging means you're always over them. You're checking up on them all the time. You're saying you can only do it this way. I mean, it feels like you're imprisoned when you're being micromanaged. Accountability says, this is what you're supposed to do. And I'm going to help you make sure that you reach your deadlines. I'm going to be the person who says, hey, George, this was due Thursday. It is now Thursday at 5. I'm not seeing this. What's happening? Or even Wednesday, you're saying, hey, Wednesday, are we ready? George, are we solid? Are we ready to go? Are we on time? Or even Tuesday, you're backing up even further. When you give a deadline, you don't just give the deadline and walk away, because there's very few people that I've known who can come back to their boss and say, I'm struggling. Yeah. Like I have obstacles. I don't know how to get that. I mean, even if you have a really open space, and people call it create the safe space, of course, you still have people who are afraid to tell you they can't get it done, or there's something that they don't understand. That's why I thought earlier when you said you could go, I don't know. I thought, wow, that's awesome. So you can be honest and vulnerable. So how big is it that you are vulnerable? And that doesn't mean telling everybody all things about you, but how important is it that you are vulnerable to your team members?
I think there's a fine line. I think it's crucial to see people real, because I set a task and I turn around to somebody and say, hey, look, get this task done. This is your weekly task. And if you get that done in 20 hours, congratulations, go home and enjoy the other 20 hours or whatever with your family. Because next week I'll give you a task and it's going to take you 60 hours. And I don't like that 40-hour work week or anything along those lines, because in this day and age, it really doesn't work, in my opinion. Having people who look up to you and saying it's okay to be scared, it's okay to be like, oh, I'm not sure about this particular one, builds their confidence, because they can actually now see that I'm not perfect, which means they don't have to be perfect. It's just a case of we get this done together logically. But for me, I like to show that I'm vulnerable. I like to show that when they move up in their leadership, they're going to be in the same position. They don't have to move into that leadership when they know 100% of everything that's going on. They need to move up into that when they know 80%. So again, it's a case of being vulnerable, being open, but like you say, seeing it.
Yeah. So I want to go back to, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to do what you said earlier, which was this. Look, if they have the task and they achieve it and they're done with it, I say, go home and enjoy.
Yeah.
Not, oh no, what more can you get done this week?
Yeah, no.
Because people will actually slow down and waste time to fill the 40 hours. I learned that really early. It's so funny. My first experience of working, I worked at, it was called a First Commerce Bank. This was way back a long time ago. And so I worked in the storage room. This is before they had faxes and before we had the internet and before, and so we were literally like runners, so they would say, you need to take this down 3 blocks away. Or, hey, they called to the storeroom, we need 5 boxes of pen, 2 blah, blah, blah. And I was like always ready to jump and go do things. And so the guy that was over me, he'd go, oh, no. Like if they don't request by 11, we're too busy here. I'm like, we're too busy here. Well, he was taking a nap. Like he would go at like 11:15. He was on one of the shelves in the store taking a nap. And he's like, we're too busy to fill anything after 11. Don't ever fill anything after 11. I was like, well, we don't leave until 5. I mean, this is crazy.
Oh, brilliant.
So what I learned was that a lot of people will fill the time and not necessarily do the work in the time. Why on earth would you tell people, oh, we got to fill this entire time, even if they know that they can get it done? So what they do is they just waste time and they procrastinate and they find other things to do. And they haven't done anything more than what they were going to do in the first place, right? So having that ability to say to them, when you get it done, go home, go find something, go enjoy, or next week I'm going to have to ask, more than 40 hours because we're going to have to say 50 or we're going to have to do 60. And then I'm recognizing that you would only ask that if it were true. Like you're only asking what is true, and you're giving them you're giving them the knowledge that they don't have to pretend to work. So,
There's nothing worse than walking into an office or whatever and seeing all these people who are looking to be busy. And they've got these 2 different screens. One's got Minesweeper on it and the other one's got whatever on it. And it's just like, fine, whatever, but don't be sitting here for the sake of being sitting here. It's just, I feel, again, it's a time thing because they have to be there for 40 hours a week. And in my opinion, that is total BS. It just doesn't work that way. And I think as leaders and managers and whoever, that if they know, if they've got a good, let's just call it a project for an example, okay? If they know they've got a good project or program of works, they've narrowed it down and everything else, you have to turn around to somebody and say, it's task-based. And you should know how long that task is going, because if you don't know whether you're overworking somebody. You don't know whether somebody else is just sitting there and doing 20 hours and 40 hours, if that makes sense. You don't know. So again, it's down to the leadership side, I think.
Yeah, and people will say, but if they can do this in 20, then we should give them like double the work. Okay, give them double the work. Are you giving them double the pay? Exactly. And ultimately, what are you doing? You're destroying your teams. This is all about, ultimately, what we're talking about here is retention. Right. Okay. Do you want to burn somebody out and get rid of them in 6, 12, 18 months? Or do you want to actually build a team, a good culture around for the environment, around the company and all the rest of it? So yeah, that's what we're talking about here, retention. Yeah. And so it's, when I was coaching basketball, we'd train really hard early, and then we'd start taking time off the practices as the year went on. And every once in a while, I just go, you guys did so great. We're not going to practice tomorrow. You had such a fantastic, and of course they'd go, and everybody's screaming and yelling. You go like, well, wow, that kind of hurts my heart, hurts my feelings a little bit, but not really. I mean, what I understood was I was rewarding them for all the hard work, and they knew that. And it just made them more eager to come back. Right? I mean, it wasn't like, oh, we got to put our X number of hours in, because I know other teams would still be practicing 2.5, 3 hours at the end of the season. And we were down to an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. I mean, we were really working hard. We're training hard. We're being very effective with our time, but we were letting them go. Yeah. Because by that time they needed that recovery was more important. The mindset, the ability to think was more important. But when people overwork people, then, a couple of things occur. One, they get burned out, they leave you, right? So your best person that you had is gone. Or 2, people around them go, I'm not working that hard, because they're just going to get more work without more pay. Yeah, exactly. The people just ultimately do what we train them to do. That's true. And I think we look at individuals as individuals, and I think that's wrong. Okay. Most of the people who come in and are working have got somebody else in their life. Okay. It could be a partner, it could be a friend, it could be a family member,
and they're working, so they're living, working, and such likes with those. So everything that they do at work is being relived at home. Okay. And so if you don't look after that person at home by taking the person who's working away from that particular person, that person now who's working for you at work is like that. I need to get home. 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 And they're not focusing the professional task to get the job done. So that's why, again, you focus on those. And you know what? When the people are working 60 hours a week, which happens a lot nowadays, okay, right, turn around, send a bunch of flowers to the significant other at home. Say, hey, look, this particular person is doing really, really well. Thank you for the support that you're giving us to make all this happen. You've got to look at the bigger picture, not just at the individual, because you're only getting 50% of the answer then.
I think it's so true. We forget they're people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we think they're just little worker bees. And if we don't know what's going on outside, because outside, what's going outside of work is affecting what they're doing at work. And do people think that you can just drop it? You know, you're going through a divorce and I can just leave that at the door. My spouse, who I love dearly, dropped this on me, had no idea we're even having problems in our marriage, and dropped this on me. Or my child is ill, or I just got a diagnosis, or, I mean, what we don't understand is that people are going to go through challenges, and we should be there as the support of those challenges, right? That's what we should be there for. Absolutely. And you can't do that if you don't develop close relationships. And I don't mean like they got to be your best buddy or your friends, definitely not. But you should have the relationship so you know enough about them that you understand a little bit more. You don't have to know everything, but a little bit more about what's going on in their world. So you can, if I support that person through that, they're willing to give more and more and more to you at a different level. So it's really important that we do that. We learn more about our people.
I totally agree. And one thing you're talking about, you're asking earlier on is about how do you build the trust up and such likes. And I've always been family comes first. Okay. So if a team member comes in and they've got an issue with the family member, I'm not talking about if a team member comes in and their grandmother has died for the 15th time. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the genuine issues that come through. And it's like, hey, look, my kid, I've got to go, whatever. And it's like, hey, just go. And as soon as the team starts seeing that when an individual has an issue, they dive in, they help, okay? And once you've got everybody to understanding that, hey, look, this is a one-off because it's a one-off and whatever, and it happens, then everybody jumps in and nothing, nine times out of 10, everything stays on track because everybody looks after one another. And then again, that starts building up the confidence where they can turn around and stick their hand up and say, I'm having an issue in X particular area.
Right. It's developing that close relationship. But I have to tell you the story because of what you just said about their grandmother dying 15 times. I had a teammate, not going to mention your name, it's a long time ago. And so we used to train super hard. We trained twice a day, year round. We're trained for the Olympics. And then we would go on these like 3-week trips where we might fit in 21 days, we might fit in 15 games. I mean, it's ridiculous. It was this crazy schedule.
Wow. Yeah.
And not only were we fitting the games in, we were traveling on the day of the game or in between the games. It was just this crazy, crazy schedule. And so we'd get back, all of us exhausted, like to the max exhausted. And they're going to send us back to training. I mean, they should have sent us home. They're going to go take off a week, right? But they'd send us back to training. And so I had a teammate. And the first time she did it, we're all like, oh, are you okay? You know, her grandmother died. Are you okay? Oh my gosh. How can we help you? Blah, blah, blah. Second trip is her uncle died. Third trip is her aunt died. And you're starting to go, wait a second. Like,
hang on.
Isn't this interesting that we're all like, oh, she's heading to the phones because this is before cell phones and whatever. And we're all placing bets on who's going to have died, right? I mean, and so at that point, this is the point I want to make about that is, like, as a leader, you have to be willing to discipline as well. You have to be willing to call people on their BS. So if you think they're feeding you a line, then you've got to be willing to call that. Or if you think they're being abusive of the opportunities you're giving them, you also have to call them on that. Because all of us who came back without that player, every single one of us got mad at her. Now she's a teammate that we're supposed to play together. We're supposed to find a way to work together. And I was like, I don't care about you.
Yep.
Right? Because you didn't care about me. And it wasn't really, like you could say, well, it's her fault. Well, yes. And the leaders, in my opinion, they're ultimately in charge of that. They're the ones who ultimately call people on their stuff, because we know that people will water goes to the least resistance place. So do people. They flow to the least resistant place. If they can get away with it, they will. And so if they know they can't, if you're also holding things steady, then they will not.
So again, totally agree. Okay. And you've got to, again, in my opinion, you've got to get to the true reason why the grandmother's just died for the 15th time.
Right.
There's a reason for that. What aren't you confident about? Why don't you want to do this anymore? What is the underlying true issue here? And as a leader, you can see, you can spot it. Okay. And if you've got very large teams nowadays, you've got the data analytics to actually monitor and focus, so you don't have to worry individual whatever, but you can actually start seeing the trends coming through. As soon as you start seeing that trend, jump on it straight away, because at the end of the day, if you leave something, it's just going to keep snowballing down. If you can nip it in the bud, you can stop it very, very quickly and understand the true reasoning behind it. And then if you can get some of your team members, your mentors or others who you can take and say, hey, look, maybe you've seen this issue before, maybe you experienced that issue before or something along those lines, and to get the actual team to help out and support, put the arms around and say, right, look, we've got you on this one. Then if it carries on, that's a different topic. That's a different topic, and we can touch that one later. But ultimately, it's getting to the point, the key true issue first of all, and try and get your team members to actually help them out individually.
Right. I love that you said, look, let's go find out what happened. Let's go find out why this is occurring, not just stop it.
Exactly.
Stop it. Well, there's a core issue to why a person behaves the way they behave. Everybody has those core issues.
Yeah.
And so it's about, what is, I've noticed this trend. Help me understand, or walk me through the process. What's the biggest challenge here that you have? And if they go, well, I'm really tired. Well, instead of being mad at them for being tired, it tells you, well, maybe everybody else is tired. Let me go find out if everybody else is tired. Then maybe the answer is, instead of coming back and going to hard work after you've been on a trip like that, you're exhausted, your time is all off, not to bring people back and go to work, but give them off that time enough to recover so they're eager. I mean, this is the thing we have to understand, is that if you don't understand human behavior or human, what causes people to be motivated or passionate, if you can't tap into that, you're always going to have people leaving and jumping ship. And it's you, if you see tendencies as a leader, look at yourself first.
Totally.
So having asked you that, I think that one of the things that I'm huge on is self-awareness. So what do you do for yourself to keep you in that ever-evolving personal development, self-awareness space?
Wow. Again, good question. So I'm a bit of a weirdo.
That's why I like you.
We get on so well. We really do. So this is not for everybody, but I get up sort of about 4:45 and get myself, and I start at about 5 o'clock, and I do a little bit of meditation. So it's my own little space. I'm being really open here. Not many people actually know that I do this, but anyway, I do a little bit of meditation for about sort of 15 minutes. Then I do a few other things, which is my self-development. Okay. I then go out and do some some exercise for about 45 minutes. And I've got my routines on Monday to Fridays, blah, blah, blah. And then I come back, and then I read. Okay. And I make sure I read for at least 10 minutes a day. And then at that point, I check my phone. Okay. Ultimately, if there's something that is being critical, because I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, it will come through. I've got my critical stuff which will come through, but everything else can wait. Everything else can wait. And then at that point, then I make about 6:30ish. I start making the coffees and that sort of stuff, and I put the phone on, check that sort of stuff. But that gives me about an hour and a half of me time in the mornings, where I can sit down, take a check, look what I need to do for the day, need to confirm if I'm on task for the week, sit down and not have any noise, no distractions, no this thing is one of the biggest distractions going. And although the technology is wonderful, it's also a killer. And it distracts your mind, and it's going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you've got these 1,000,000 mile an hour things. So I need to focus on 3 tasks out of those million. It's like, okay. But so when you're quiet in that space, and that's how I try and stay focused. Everybody's different, not for everybody, but that's how I tend to stay focused.
I think that I've found, I've interviewed hundreds now of leaders for my 3 books on leadership. What I found is there's a lot of people just like you, right? They establish I need to fill my cup first so that I can give to other people.
Yes.
And when people wake up, and usually it's women are the worst. I mean, men are much better about self-care than women. Men tend to fill their cup, and then they're able to help everybody else, because you can't give what you don't have. You have to have it to give it. And so I do the same thing. I mean, not exactly what you do, but I do start my day with those kind of like meditation, reading. I listen to podcasts, when I'm cooking my breakfast. I do like my routine so that when I start my coaching during the day, or start my webinars during the day, so that when I get to there, I have something to give. Otherwise, I'm empty. And so now I'm running on empty. I'm trying to listen to you. I'm trying to acknowledge you. I'm trying to care about you. And all I'm doing is like, I'm tired, or I'm grouchy, or I'm not there for you because I haven't given to me first. This is so critical. I just think that I can't stress it enough for people.
Yes.
Is that the more that you give to you, the more that you can offer others. And that is such a big thing for people. So, Matt, we didn't say your last name was Bronniman. So Matt, please tell people what, if you can, what are you up to today? What are you moving forward with? If you can't expose it, don't. But if you have something that you want to share with people, the way you're going forward and things that you think you're going to be out there doing, let them know. Or if you just have something that you want to offer people as a golden nugget before we get off, please do that as well.
I can't go into too much details in actually what I'm doing right now, but I will say is, I'm seeing in the world right now, there's various broken things when it comes down into recruitment. And as an example, you put a resume out there. Okay. What is a resume nowadays? It's an AI generated piece of something, along with the cover letter. Okay. That goes in, you submit that along with the other 1,000 people who have just done that. And it goes in, and the AI at the other end reads the AI piece of generated information you've created, and then eventually 5% maybe goes to the recruiter, and the recruiter's like, oh, I like this. This looks really good. And so it's like, hey, Sherry, tell me about yourself. And you say about it. It has nothing to do with that piece of AI generated whatever. It's broken. So quite simply, what I'm doing right now is I'm connecting employers directly with students and others, and students directly with employers. And you're going to love this, because I'm creating a career scouting platform. So you know how early talent's scouted in the sports world, okay? And so why can't we do that for IT? Why can't we do that for healthcare? Why can't we do that for finance and all these others? And if we can help the students go through and come out of school with no debt, because all of a sudden the employers found the ideal person, they want to sponsor them through their education. Hey, look, that's only got to be a good thing. So that's what I'm working on right now. I just want to stop you there, because one of the things I've noticed when I talk to people, and the last book I wrote, we talked about how to hire for high performance, people. How do you hire those people? And so during those conversations, I learned a lot of people do not spend the time to get to know who they're hiring. And so I just talked about this with the company the other day. They said, well, when you go to recruit a student athlete, when you start recruiting them, I'm like, oh my goodness, like some people start as early as like 5th grade. We didn't start that early. But certainly by the time they were like freshmen, we had them on our radar. We knew who they were. Like we were watching them play, not once, but several times. Then it became how many times a day did you talk to them? I couldn't talk to them, but one time a day when I was playing. I don't know all the rules now, but one time a week was what we could talk to them. You sent them letters, you sent them emails, you had them, you went and visited their family, they came and visited your campus. I mean, think about the hours that we put in for somebody that we knew was only going to be there for 4 years. Yes.
This is the insanity of what it looked like. And so now people say, oh, we interviewed him for 30 minutes. I go, you did what? Like, you're going to hire, after you interviewed him for 30 minutes, you're going to hire somebody? Like, are you kidding me?
Exactly. It's crazy. And then you ask, why did you only do 30 minutes? Oh, well, I couldn't get everybody together. I couldn't arrange this. I couldn't arrange that. And I don't have time to do any longer. Anyway, I concur. Totally broken. So yeah, it's all about the retention. It's like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Employer, whoever it may be, it's like, look, at the end of the day, 30 minutes will get you somebody through the door. And congratulations to the staffing. I'm going off on one now. I do apologize, but going with the staffing agency, all the staffing agencies, like just grabbing somebody, putting them in there. You as an individual is like, oh, I've got a job interview. I'm going to get this job no matter what I can say and do and everything else. I'm going to take it. Yeah, retention. It's back to retention. So
even when, so I'll say one more thing about this and then we'll close with you telling us a golden nugget. But when I was interviewing for coaching positions, so you can imagine this, interviewing for coaching positions, it would be a full day. I mean, there would be there'd be a call before they brought me in. Then the process was a full day. I mean, it started at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
I met with the, like the chancellor, the vice president, the president, the athletic director, all the coaching staff, the team members, the booster. I mean, it was like a full day of interviews. And of course, I'm exhausted at the end of it. But they knew by the time it was over, after having talked to everybody who had, spoken with me, they knew if I was the right person or not. It was really intense. It was really hard. And so, when you want to hire somebody, you got to think about this. You're hiring somebody that you hope is going to stay with your company for a while, not 4 years, but maybe for 10. Maybe you get to retain them for that long, right? You want to hire them. You want to train them. You want them to stay. You want them to be happy. And if they leave, you want them to leave because they have a huge opportunity that you help them get to that level. You don't want them to leave because they got in and they're disgruntled and they're mad. You want them to leave for that reason. So what's your final thought of, leadership, your last golden nugget for people right now, Matt?
Don't be scared of the unknown. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to put your hand up. There is no such thing as a stupid question. You witness this all the time, and people turn around and say, 9 times out of 10, when this so-called stupid question is asked, you can look around the room, and if you're standing in front of the people, you see it. If you're sitting there looking at the presenter, you don't see it, okay? And they're like that, I don't know the answer to that myself. It's okay not to know. And just to push yourself out there, I'm just going to leave it at that. It's okay not to know.
Awesome. So Matt, if anybody was looking for you, is the best place to find you on LinkedIn, or is there somewhere else where they can
Please do.
Find you on LinkedIn? So Matt, you want to spell your last name so people know?
Yeah. So anybody, I'm happy to have a conversation. I love to get to know people and I love to get to know the individuals. So yeah, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Matt, M-A-T-T, and my second name is Bronniman. It's B-R-O-N-N-I-M-A-N, Bronniman.
So I was saying it wrong the whole time. That's okay because I love you anyway. I used to have players and they go, Coach, I've been playing for you for 2 years and you're still calling me the wrong name. I'm like, I am so sorry, Lucy. My name's not Lucy, it's Teresa. Oh, it doesn't mean I don't love you. All right, folks. So, hey, everybody, I just want you to say, look, if you love this, please share the podcast, get it out there for people. And thank you again, Matt. You were awesome, like I knew you were going to be. So awesome.
Thank you again for inviting me. Thanks you so much, Joe.
Have a winning day.
Catch you later. Bye-bye.